Matt Omo. Welcome back to my podcast.
Thank you, Mr. Guy Lawrence. Happy to be here.
It's I was going to say this is a monthly occurrence, but I realized it's been more than a month since you were last on, and so we got to up our game. I think we're actually getting out in the world too much.
Well, that's just it. I was going to say, it hasn't been a month since I've seen you. I feel like you just are my new housemate. See you so often.
I know we've literally just got back from Port Macquarie and Newcastle. We did back-to-back workshops on the weekend, which were phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But I think my brain is just slowly coming back on gear. I think people forget that we actually need to take time out, but afterwards it's like, when I record a podcast, yeah, one more day. Let's just do one more day, and then the next thing you know, 6 weeks have gone by.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into it then.
All right.
What we got on the menu today?
We and this is a good one because it's something that we see all the time, and a lot of the things I think we'll dive into today as well might seem obvious, but from what I love about our work is trying to make things simple, and even my life. So these things are very relevant, and it's 6 ways to slow down the pace of modern life. And you mentioned something. Don't forget to mention that stat at the start. And I was like, oh yeah, because we mentioned it at our workshops. But I heard Paul Chek saying about that our nervous system receives more information in one day than it did in an entire life 150 years ago. So it's like, wow, that's that's scary when you think about that. So if we're not actually starting to apply things now on a daily basis, then we are going to pay for it over the long term. So I'm going to let you rock on with number one, mate. Unless you want to add anything.
Yeah, well, it's astonishing, that first stat, but it's also not unbelievable. Like, I think whenever we mention those at the workshops, it's just like everyone gets it, because we are so inundated with information and noise, and it's like, of course, our nervous system's getting hammered every day. So yeah, we'll tick through. We've got six suggested ways to slow things down. The first, which is just gold, I think it not only slows things down, but it also creates a lot of benefit, is practicing gratitude. And I think that it's very easy to discredit that one, and we say this in the course as well, because gratitude is one of the petals to our flower of flow. So our 12-week program leans into gratitude quite a lot, and I think people hear about, oh, make a gratitude list, and start to focus on the positive, and it can be easily just dismissed as, oh yeah, it's just one of those personal development, self-help, woo-woo things, right? But it's about, I think, more so savoring what is. I think we're always looking at the problems, or looking at the threats coming in, or trying to we're doing things that are creating more and more stress and drive, and actually, pushing that fast forward button in our lives. And if we just pause and we just say, what we're grateful for, and start to look at how much we have, how many gifts are being presented to us in each moment, it just slows things down. It just takes the pressure off the accelerator, and just allows me to drop into my body, and really just start to then open into the heart, and just be like, wow, like, what a gift, each breath, each moment, the way the sun might be hitting my face in that moment, or, just the little things. It's like, man.
Yeah. And it's always challenging, isn't it? When you hear that, and if you're really stressed, or if your life is in turmoil, and to actually say to someone, just start practicing gratitude, it can feel very confronting even. And even in my own life, it was just definitely something, once I started to realize I had everything within me, then it allows you to, like you say, start to cherish a moment more, and it stops that striving, which then slows down that stress response. And the one last thing as well, as human beings, we're very good at forgetting how far we've come, or where we're at, or what we have in our life. And it's not until things start to get taken away we then start to really appreciate what we do have. So I'm all for it, and it's something that we lean into as well. And even if you don't have a gratitude practice, I'll say it now on the podcast, we do have a free 7 days to meditation series. There's 3 short meditations, and they lean on ingratitude in there, because you really want to embody the emotions when you do it. It's not a tick the box, let's get gratitude done so I can then carry on with the busyness of my day. That's for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
it's changing
mm,
changing yourself, really, creating a new way of being in yourself.
but that's the thing. That's what all these do, isn't it? You know, which
Mm,
then leans into number
yeah,
two,
yeah,
mindfulness. And are you
yep.
gonna? Do you want to jump in, or do you want me to carry on with that?
Oh, I've just kind of hit a mental hurdle there
Oh,
because I was like, man, that mindfulness word gets thrown around a lot, and I'm just like, oh, here we are
it sends me
again.
to sleep.
That's that
When I hear it, I think, oh, that's so boring.
right. I
So fucking
know.
mindful,
Oh
you know.
no, we're gonna talk about
And I'm
mindfulness
like, is
now.
Matt even being mindful
Uh,
on the podcast
we
right
ju-
now? Or is he daydreaming? I don't know where he is.
no, I just went deep into myself. I'm like, I can't even talk about that stupid word anymore. Like that's all we were talking about for years. Be mindful, have a greater awareness.
Yeah,
Oh man. So I just kind of went into a freeze
yeah.
response, man. Um
Stressing you out. Slow down, mate. Slow down.
trauma response, man. That's it. No, it's a good one though, because I guess to reframe it, like, because I always say, like, you want to devour each moment of life. To me, it's like that word devour each moment just really speaks to me. And it's like dropping in and really, really absorbing each of your senses, really like milking each moment, I guess, for what it's worth. Cause, it's just, you like doing this podcast. We woke up and it's like 6 weeks since we've been on here last, and we've been saying we're going to do it every week. And it's like, and that's the way life moves.
Mm.
It's just like that. And it's like, and then we just get on this autopilot, and we don't even clock all the different sensations and senses and experiences that we're having throughout the day, and it's just gone. And such is our life, right?
Yeah.
So to me, to be able to just sink into myself and just feel what I need to feel, smell the smells, taste the taste, it's like, oh, just really stretches out the experience of life. So
And I think it's,
that to me is
yeah.
mindfulness.
And as you become more aware, which is the gateway in, I suppose, to mindfulness, isn't it?
Mm,
You start to tune into yourself. You start to reconnect to yourself. You start to become, your awareness starts to broaden. And you mentioned those word feelings as well and things. And we just encourage to really just operate from the head up in society, in terms of
yeah.
just thinking and constantly analytical. And as we start to be mindful, and for me, that can then give the opportunity to create space. And it's in that space we start to become aware of more of how we are, how we're being, what words we're actually using, what actions, how are we holding our body, how are we holding our breath, you know, and how we're actually feeling and what feelings we haven't been willing to acknowledge. So it's almost like the gateway into the deeper aspects of the work that we do, but it needs to start somewhere. And becoming mindful will
Mm.
then definitely allow you to slow down and start to find appreciation. Then it would even lean in for the gratitude. I suppose you could even swap those around. You become mindful, and then you can lean into gratitude. I just wish there was a sexier name than mindfulness. I don't know what it could be.
I don't know.
Feels like a corporate
I'm sure
event.
there's one out there, mate, but
Yeah.
it does. It does. All right, so I'll move on to number three
Okay.
then. So we've got gratitude, mindfulness. Number three, this is a big one. Stop multitasking. You
What,
wanna ramp
what
on
do you mean
that
stop
one?
multitasking? I can't do seven things at once. Come on. And the first thing I thought of multitasking is the unconscious multitasking stuff we do a lot. You know, um, most car accidents are done, uh, and I know this doesn't happen when I'm sitting in the van full of your music sound material, mate. When we're off to a workshop, because you're very attentive, and
That's
there's no
right.
multitasking, hitting the phone and having notifications pinging or all that's not happening anymore, which is amazing.
No, never.
But I think, when you start to consider even eating, like that's such a sacred, I believe is this should be a sacred time and a family time, and giving you the ability to slow down and be present with your food and eat as a family or whatever that might be. And quite often we could be just chowing on food, checking emails, you're at work, chomp, 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 you're not even present with that. And then your digestion system's in stress mode when you're eating the food and you're not actually nourishing that. And that's causing a cascade effect. Moving on, and all these things feed into that. Another one I'm noticing, and I'm very tempted to do it, and I do my best. So I actually leave my phone away from me now. It's like even being in the park when I'm with Ava, it's tempting to stick her on a swing and then
Mm,
check my emails. I mean, how ridiculous is that? But it's easily
yeah.
done. And then all of a sudden you're not being present and you're not having this gift, this moment that you have with another person. I mean, how often can you find yourself with your mind somewhere else when you're actually trying to engage in a conversation and not fully present with someone? So all these things are keeping us in the stress response and keeping us divided of not being here now. I mean, that's definitely seems to be the theme running through for today's podcast. You know,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And multitasking these days is going to an extreme, and I think you hit it, like, to putting that phone aside, because there's not it's not just a phone that's next to you that might ring at some point. It's got half a dozen things pumping through there at once, and different apps and different things
mm.
going on. Like, I think you told me a couple of years ago, just turn your notifications off, mate. Like, you sat next to me and my phone was ping, 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 ping.
It's getting a
You're
heart
like, just
attack,
just turn them off. What
man.
do you got all those on for? I
It'd
know,
be hard to
totally.
reach.
It's a game changer, right? I know. Nobody can reach me anymore, but that's fine. Um, I don't get the notifications. I chime into, WhatsApp or Messenger or emails once or twice a day, and there's, 6 or 7
Yeah,
notifications there. It's like, yeah, but that didn't interrupt my day and my time in the moment. It's like I was able to actually go about my day and do my things, and then, oh
yeah,
crap, I better check the WhatsApp because guy's talking about something there.
yeah,
And yeah, so it's just gotten to an extreme, and I think that we also it, it it's almost like an acceptable way to say that I'm going to do a lot of things badly. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to do one thing good. I'm going to do a lot of things badly. I'm just going to call it multitasking. Everyone's going to understand because that's cool. That's okay. We can just all multitask now. And I think it's just a poor excuse to not being, like you say, present. And it also then engages or supports our fear of being present in the moment, which I think is where a lot of this stems
mm,
from. Is that if we're consumed by all the things that might happen to us and that we're trying to avoid have happen to us in the future, that are stemming from a perpetual um, imposition of the past upon us from our experiences, then we never actually have to be with ourselves because we're not comfortable being with ourselves. And so, a lot of this busyness and fast pace of our society, and having 10 jobs and a phone that can ping every 30 seconds with 20 different possible portals to dive down, gives us that ability to avoid being with ourselves, which, isn't that the key to it all? Isn't that why we're here, to actually experience life from our own
and enjoy
perception?
and live it.
So it's fascinating how distracted we've gotten.
It is fascinating, and as business owners ourselves, I always hear this, keep thinking that like technology, it's become our own prison in some respects because it's been developed to make our life more efficient so we can become more productive, so we can get more done, which is wonderful. But then for me, that always feels like it's leading into this keeping yourself busy, keeping yourself on the like striving for
Mm.
more and more. And it's like I've really let all that go, and it's like I actually striving for more of my time back. That's the most precious part of it. So efficiency and productivity is amazing, and of course we want that efficiency within our business as well and what we do, but that's to allow me to free up my time so I can actually utilize it on what I want to be doing. And it's so easy to fall out of that and into that trap from that, So I've become a
Mm.
lot more conscious um, around all of these things I do, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, next one.
What was that, number
I don't
3?
know. Yeah, I think it was.
We just went. Well, we kind of just leaned into
Yeah,
number 4, which is switch the phone
yeah,
off. So they go hand in hand, really.
yeah, totally, totally. That's
And
a lot of the multitasking goes there.
yeah, Simon Sinek talks. Simon Sinek talks about the phone and how it's disrespectful, and it sends that like subconscious response that I really don't care about you if you have a phone in your hand, or even if you just put it on a table when you're eating. It's like it sends this subconscious signal that you're not that important to me, that I'm going to give you my full presence and be here with you. And so it's a disconnector. We think that it's these amazing machines are connecting us, but in essence they're really disconnecting us. And on a deeper level, it's a superficial kind of connection. And I've got over 5,000 friends on my Facebook, and I most of the time sit at home drinking coffee by myself. So and I spend 3 hours with you in the car. That's about the most socializing I get.
God help you.
So that's it, man. So yeah, I think it's about that deeper level of connection, and leaning more into that, which doesn't live in a cell phone or a computer or modern day
Yeah.
applications. Yeah, or the metaverse for that matter. Here we go. I'll put the VR headsets on and let's just have a party, man.
Disconnect. Yeah, no, a
That's
massive.
it.
Some of the rules I have are on my phone now. I have it on Do Not Disturb for a start, so then I only check
Yeah.
it several times a day. Um, then the other thing is it's on flight mode when I get up in the morning, so there's no notifications. I don't turn it on till after I've had a coffee and connected with Ava and Linda and stuff, and I've done my bit of my routine and things. Like I just don't touch it. It's just because the moment you
Mm.
see an email or see something, it's just going to trigger an emotional response, and uh, and once your conscious
Yeah.
awareness gets to that, it's game over. So that's a big rule for me. When I go out to dinner, to people, to cafes, it's always on flight mode. I never have the phone near my body anyway on. I'm really a stickler for that.
Mm.
So I always turn it face down, airplane mode on, and even then after, when it comes towards dinner time, my phone's not near me anymore because it's just way too distracting, way too distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you also lean into something else that a lot of these practices will offer benefit to, which is your health. And having those EMFs close to your body like that, like studies are coming out like more and
Mm.
more. It's just not good for
Well,
your
it's
body.
even when you purchase a phone, it says do not place near your body or your ear when talking
Yeah.
in tiny
Yeah.
little writing
Right.
that no one reads.
There you go. Yep, that's it. Like 100
Yeah.
other things. So yeah, and I think all this, slowing down, being in the moment, being present, connecting with people on that kind of
Mm.
level, that deeper level, all nurtures a sense of well-being and health within us. That ultimately, what we're striving for with this multitask, fast-paced world that we're living in, is to find that place of connection, of peace, of happiness, of joy, of well-being. And why not just do that
Mm.
now?
Yeah. Or you could be striving for it and
Fascinating.
keeping yourself busy to get there, and then it never arrives. That's exactly what happens.
No, it's always in the
Mm.
future.
Yeah. Okay,
Hmm.
number 5.
Number 5, stop wearing busyness as a badge of honor. Yeah. I know a few people like
Yeah,
that.
so do I. I my favorite when people ask me what I do for a living, my standard answer is as little as possible. I love saying that. And the reason
Yeah.
why I do it is because it just diffuses everything. It's like, I try not to get my identity wrapped up into anything. And oh, I'm busy, and oh, I'm so tired today. Oh, I'm so how I you just go into these modes of,
That, write down the
oh
negative.
fuck.
Yeah,
And I
like
do catch myself saying it sometimes, like when, especially after these workshops. How are you? But oh, I'm fried. It's like,
I
get
know,
on with it, you
right?
wimp. What's wrong with
But when
but
that's it. But when you say that to somebody, do you find that could be triggering for some people? Do people give you kind of like, oh, what a jerk being aloof like that? Like,
No, I just say
or
with a
is it
wink
they're
and a
just like,
smile,
oh,
like I'm just taking the piss. But it's like,
okay.
I try and keep it deadpan, because I always go in with the opposite. When people say, "How are you?" I just go, "I am phenomenal today. Like this is the best day yet. How are you going?" And it jars them out of it. Like, what? Where's all this positivity come from? They just wanted to tell me, like, how miserable they were. But so
Yeah, that's it.
I,
No, you threw the waitress at the Indian restaurant
I
on
did.
Sunday. I don't think she spoke a lick of English, and you're throwing your over the top positivity words at her. She just laughed and kept coming back,
Exactly.
bringing more
She was
food. It was
smiling
great.
and happy. That's the main thing. And it's like, why not? Why can't we?
That's it.
Why do we have to wear this this heaviness as a badge of honor? Where it's, I'm so busy, I'm so tired, I'm so sore, and actually wear this positive badge of honor, and just, even if it's over the top, if you get a laugh and a smile, and you break someone's day and make their day, and in the same time you crack yourself up doing it and have a bit of fun, and it's done with kindness and love, not in the right way, then why not? Like, because everybody wins then. And it's amazing as you do that. And then it's amazing if you see the same people and how they respond around that as well, over the future. They tend to then,
Mm.
you get the best aspects of them, you know.
Yeah, well, it's like I think it's like a breath of fresh
Mm,
air coming in our
that's
heavy
right.
world. And it's like I don't like most of us aren't even aware that we're doing it. Like it's we complain about the weather and all the stuff that we have to do, and then we move into the aches and pains of our body, and it's like we have these progressions of trying to one up each other on our pain points and our level of stress. It's like, and that just becomes our dialogue, and it's like, you know,
And
why? Why does it have to
yeah,
be
and
that
the
way?
other thing as well I want to mention of this is that I making lists. Like, I'm a stickler for not making lists. I should do it more because I forget half the shit I'm supposed to do that day. But
No, not you.
you know, but lists can keep you busy and they can keep you distracted. You know, it's like, why not? If we're going to make lists, why not make lists and all the things that we want to change in our life and move toward, and then start attacking them each day. Not all
Mm,
the errands we need to run and all the things that keep us busy and distracted from the things that we really need to get done, you know. And that was one thing that really stood out for me when I really started moving into starting 180 nutrition back in the day. Was there was a big distinguish of just keeping myself busy and most productive things that are going to help us move forward. And why aren't we doing that in our personal life as well, and reassessing and reevaluating
mm.
and working on that, as opposed to just lists.
Yeah, yeah. Activities, things to do, but I never do the things that I want to
Exactly.
do.
Exactly. All right.
No, we got one more down here. You want to read that
Sure.
one out?
I love this one. Establish an intentional morning routine. Morning routine.
That's it, mate. I think you asked pretty much everybody on your podcast. What's your morning
Yeah.
routine look like?
Yeah.
So let me ask you that. What's your morning routine look like,
Mine.
Mister Guy
Okay.
Lawrence?
Well, it is a little bit up and down because
Yeah.
if it depends on sleep deprivation, and I just blame Ava for this, that's okay, but it's true. If you have a crying baby that's waking you up, so I'm very conscious. So sleep is my number one priority these days. So, but
Yeah.
my morning routine is really important, and a few things that I do. For example, Monday and Tuesday, I ensure I laid in and we got up as a family and went for a coffee together, which we generally do each morning, which is our time and that time before the busyness goes on. Last week before the workshops, when I was amped and ready to go, my alarm was going off 5:15. I've got a small meditation stool. I would come in and I would go through a particular meditation practice that I do for about half an hour, connecting back to myself and everything else and finding the gratitude in that. And then I would go into breathing and movement, and actually bringing awareness to anything that is feeling a bit sore or stiff. And then I would breathe into that for about 15 minutes and move my body accordingly. And then, um, and then I'd go for the coffee with the family as well. So but it's varied all the time, and it's quite hilarious. Some of the answers I've had on the podcast from people that have got like this massive
Yeah.
2 hour routine. You think, Jesus Christ, how do you fit all that in? To somebody who goes, oh, I get up and read the paper, and it's really boring actually, and have a cup of tea. So it does
That's
vary,
it.
but
Yeah.
I even got a PDF on my website, about your 5-step morning routine, which was that way before I had
Mm.
Ava, and I still include all the elements in it. It's just not all first thing in the morning now, but the it's a big one for me, because if you set yourself up and you shift anything that you're becoming aware of that might not get you going, or you might go off in the wrong trajectory. The morning is such a precious time that you have the ability to self circumnavigate yourself and create certain rituals and routines that are going to put you in a positive frame of mind. They're going to support your health, support the way you live, and really want you to embrace the day as opposed to resist it. Like I just wonder how many people out there right
Yeah.
now are getting up to an alarm clock that they don't want to be getting up to, or going to a job they don't want to
Oh.
be going to, and they're just stuck in this place of heaviness, and there's no interjection of that,
Mm.
and then it feels like a cycle you can't get out of. And the morning routine is a massive way of
Mm.
changing that, massive. But you've got to start somewhere, and it could be 15 minutes, then
Yeah.
broaden it to half an hour or whatever. What about your morning routine? What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, I've fallen off the wagon a bit with moving house and everything, but normally I have the one thing that I want to mention is that alarm clock thing. That was like a very jarring thing for me. I did it for years, and it didn't. Gosh, it must have even been around high school when I started implementing this from some series my dad was making me listen to, personal development. Um, is that they were talking about an internal clock and that you can actually trigger
Hmm.
yourself to wake up at a certain time. And that really appealed to me because I'm a very sensitive to noises. I'm very, I have a very sensitive nervous system, as you know. Chairs being in the right place, this kind of stuff. Like, so those alarm clocks just jarred me out of my sleep. And so I strive to create that internal clock, and I would like wake up 2 to 3 minutes before my alarm would trigger, and I just really embodied that. And it's like I use an alarm as a backup. I don't even know why I do, because it doesn't
Yeah.
come in maybe once every 2 years. Like I'll just be so flat, and if I have to get up at a certain time, it's like that'll make it happen. But 99% of the time, I'm waking up on my own accord, and I've designed my life in a way that it's usually when I want to. I have like a leeway in that morning to I can get up at 5:30 or I could get up at 8:30, somewhere in there. And so I just let my body wake me. And that to me is a huge game changer, because sleep is such a priority. And if I crack in the middle of a sleep cycle, that throws me all out of whack for the day. But if I just come out of it naturally, that changes everything. And then, like I said, the falling off the wagon. It's like I like to get up and connect with nature, get out in the veranda, connect with the nature here. I can now connect with the water in front of me, and have just a space to unwind, find myself, open my body, any kind of movement, use some sound, toning, open my voice, set an intention for the day. Like, some days it can only be 5 minutes, maybe. If the kids are here, then it looks like, oh, get them sorted and then find that space, So it's about being flexible,
Totally.
I think, as well. But to have some sort of ritual to go through, then puts me on the right foot for the day. And yeah, I think it's critical,
It's funny
because it's very easy to wake up, lean into the phone, alarm phone, because usually the alarm's on the phone, right? And then lean into that, and then boom,
yeah,
you're off to the
totally.
races.
No,
Sorry, you were
because
going to say.
you talked about the alarm and getting up without the alarm. I always remember as a kid, my uncle saying to me, "Oh, you want to get up at 5? Just headbutt the wall 5 times before you go to bed, and you'll be sweet in the morning." And I was like, I must have been about 7 or 8. I'm thinking, no, really? Come on, does that work? I did. I didn't. I didn't try it. No.
Okay.
He was laughing when he was telling me, so that was one of the giveaways.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. You got some creative family
Yeah.
members over there.
Bill. Yeah, classic. So I'm sure there's a lot more as well, but I guess with the theme of today, slowing down the pace, it's all within us and within our control, and and if we choose to do it, then it can make inroads as simple as it is as well. And it's definitely all the things we spoke about have certainly been a large part of my life that have helped improve the quality of each day, each moment, and enjoy it. Like you said, it's very
Yeah,
precious. Yeah.
absolutely. We didn't even lean. You could lean into the down the rabbit hole of the quantum physics kind of thing there. If you wanted to. I know we're pushed for time. We're like closing out here, but time is a relative thing. It's not set in stone. I remember through meditations or even massaging people at times and getting in a state with massaging people and having
Oh
that
yes.
clock. They had a certain amount of time in a session, and that second hand would like pause. Like, I swear I would get so in the moment and so present with that session that I would fall in between the seconds, fall in between time. And to me, that's as real as the sun rising, is that we have command over the pace at which we perceive time and which time moves through us. And so these practices also can ultimately make you younger, because you're not passing through time so fast.
Absolutely. Well, if you really want to spin your head, have a Google the Mandela effect. I'll be having Dr. Cynthia Larson,
Oh,
come in on the show in a few weeks. I'm going to raise that with her. I'm not even going to try and explain it. I still can't quite get it, but it's interesting.
no, you just triggered a memory. You said something about it last week. I
Yeah,
haven't
there
Googled it
you
yet.
go. There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Hopefully, this podcast has
Cool, mate.
helped in somewhat today and been a good reminder as well. We've got some plenty coming up over the next few weeks. We got plenty coming up. Where are we next, mate? We're in Penrith next. Is that correct? Yeah, for the 1 day workshop.
Penrith in like
4,
weeks, yeah?
3 or 4. Oh, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll survive school holidays, get
Yeah.
past Easter.
Yeah. Penrith.
Yeah,
Then we have the retreats in May. And then we are in Melbourne,
that's
Geelong
right.
in June. Then we are Canberra and Sydney, I believe. Then we're into, geez, then we're
You're on
into
it, yeah. Then we got
our
July,
next
August
retreats,
retreats. And
3 and 5 night. And then we are hopefully finalizing Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast.
Gold
And then
Coast.
we'll go from there. God, blink and another year's gone. Bloody hell. Where's the time go?
Yeah. We need to lean into these practices, mate.
Fantastic. All
Yeah,
right. You want to
cool.
find out more?
All
Yeah,
right,
just go
thanks,
back
man.
to livingflow.co. I'm sure you know where to go. Links are below as well. All right. Thanks, legend.